Who among you here have experienced throwing away fruits and vegetables because it got spoiled before you had the chance to consume it? Anyone? Okay. Do you want them to stay longer in your shelf? And have you been to any market and found piles of fruits and vegetables rotting away? Are you concerned about this? Or did you stop and think what could be done to reduce this waste? Okay. If your answer is yes, then you probably want to hear what I'm about to tell you. Okay. I know we all want to extend the usual shelf life or the length of time that fruits and vegetables are fit for consumption, even without refrigeration while still maintaining quality. This is even advantageous to farmers and market vendors as they can extend or lengthen the display of their fresh produce longer than usual. Okay, we can even reduce waste. But how is this possible? Before we get to that, let us first get acquainted on how fruits and vegetables affect our economy and living and the changes it undergoes. Okay. Fruits and vegetables are considered high-value crops because of their significant contribution to the agricultural economy. In fact, according to the Bureau of Agricultural Statistics of the Department of Agriculture, it accounts to 44% of the total crop production. And it has 11% share in the gross domestic product. So, you know, GDP is the total value or amount of goods produced and services in a country over a year. Okay. And it has a gross earnings of 268.3 billions in 2015. So that's a lot of money. Okay. And also, fruits and vegetables are rich sources of vitamins, minerals, plant proteins, and medicinal substances. Therefore, there is a need to handle them properly so that we will be able to maintain and preserve their nutritional and economical value. Okay. We are all aware that fruits and vegetables are perishable items. They are living commodities and they deteriorate very quickly. Now, if you want them to be in their maximum shelf life, they should exist in their excellent condition and have excellent quality. Now, the question is, what hinders or what stops fruits and vegetables from attaining their maximum shelf life? It's post-harvest losses, which occurs between harvest and the moment of human consumption. Now, you might ask, what are the factors that causes post-harvest losses? So these are mechanical injury, which occurs as a result of improper handling, damage during transport, which could lead to bruising, cutting, and other forms of injury. So you saw durian. Okay. And the next factor is diseases, which is due to attack of microorganisms. Because you know, fruits and vegetables are rich sources of nutrients and moisture, which is a requirement for the growth and survival of microorganisms, right? Okay. Another one is physiological deterioration, which is due to exposure to undesirable environmental conditions, such as low or high temperature, high humidity. You know, when humidity is high, moisture will build up and will attract pathogenic microorganisms. Okay. It is believed that reducing post-harvest losses is much cheaper than increasing yield. And with proper post-harvest technologies and treatments, people can be sufficiently fed without bringing additional hectares of land or changing present agricultural practices. Moreover, it is said that reducing post-harvest losses by 10%, more food can be produced than reducing increasing yield by 10% without reducing post-harvest losses. Okay? In the Philippines, according to the Food and Fertilizer Technology Center, the average loss for fruits is 28%. And for vegetables, it's 42%. Okay. So this means that 1/10 to 1/2 of all land, input, labor, and other resources used to produce the commodity goes to waste. And when this is expressed in monetary terms, it could amount to millions to billions of pesos. So for instance, you have an earning of 268.3 billion. So an average loss of 35% would incur a loss of about 93.9 billion pesos annually. But if we reduce this loss by a mere 1%, we will be able to save 939 million pesos. So that's a lot of money. But what's in it for us citizens? Or what can we get from it? Okay. According to the National Statistics Office, food contributes the largest portion in the expenditure of a household's income. This means that more money is being spent for it. Okay? So since reducing post-harvest losses would result in saving a large amount of money for the country, it would probably, or ideally, result in lower prices of goods. Therefore, a household can now reduce their budget for food and allocate it to other expenses. Okay, now the question is, how do we prevent post-harvest losses? Okay, by employing post-harvest technologies and treatments. Most commonly used and applied here in our country are, we have refrigeration, modified atmosphere packaging, and synthetic fungicides. What I'm about to show you is an alternative way of preserving fresh produce, which is through the use of edible coatings, such as chitosan. Okay, so chitosan exists in powder form. So it is derived from the shells of crustaceans, such as lobsters, crabs, shrimps. Okay, it undergoes a process called the acetylation. Okay, the acetylation is just the removal of a certain group called acetyl group in chitin. So this process is very important so chitosan can perform its activities such as being an antimicrobial. Also, chitosan has been approved GRAS, or generally recommended as safe by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, as it is safe for consumers and the environment. Okay, so we can see here that we are making use of waste because no one eats the shell of crabs, right? Right? So we are making use of this waste, converting it into a very beneficial product which has a potential to reduce post-harvest losses and greatly contribute to our economy, and we can also reduce waste. Okay? Now, how beneficial is chitosan? Or what are the other applications of chitosan? Chitosan actually is also used in agriculture as fertilizer and plant growth enhancer, in water treatment as adsorbent and removal of heavy metals, in medicine as sponges and bandages because of their ability to clot blood rapidly, and also in food as a dietary food and preservative. Okay, now you might be wondering, how about those people with shellfish allergy? Okay, it is believed that people who are allergic to shellfish are actually allergic to the meat and not the shell. So some experts believe that chitosan may not be a problem to people who are allergic to shellfish. Okay. Now, how do we prepare chitosan to be used as a coating? So chitosan powder is just dissolved in water with glacial acetic acid. So glacial acetic acid is pure acetic acid because chitosan is soluble in dilute acid aqueous solutions. Okay. Wala pa rin. So the fruit is dipped in the solution for about 3 minutes. I conducted a study on the effect of chitosan coating on the post-harvest quality of sweet peppers. So sweet peppers are prone to shriveling due to loss of moisture during storage and attack of microorganisms, specifically fungi. You don't want to eat this, right? You don't want to mix it in your viand or in your pizza, right? So in a study, sweet peppers were dipped in different concentrations of chitosan and in control with only water. And based on result, shriveling was significantly delayed, and the visual quality was consistently better with the highest concentration of chitosan. Also, the control exhibited or the fastest to show decay. As you can see on the 15th day, abundant growth of fungi was observed. Okay. So based on results, chitosan seems to show potential in preserving quality of sweet peppers. Also, other studies have been conducted on the effect of chitosan on other fresh produce, such as in mangosteen, which was conducted here in UP Mindanao, and in strawberries, so it was able to extend or lengthen the shelf life. Also in papayas and in bananas. Okay. Now you might ask, what is or how does chitosan act as an antimicrobial, or how does it preserve fruits or vegetables? Okay, it is due to electrostatic interaction. So you can see the picture is very complicated, but it's just the it's like a magnet. It's an attraction between opposite charges. So chitosan is positively charged, while the membrane of microorganisms like fungi is negatively charged. So the chitosan binds to the membrane of microorganisms and then covering it, and then after a threshold concentration is reached, the membrane becomes permeable, and then it becomes disrupted, leading to the release of cellular contents, and then the cell becomes unstable, leading to the death of the microorganisms. Okay, although chitosan is not yet commercially available in the country, it has a great potential in reducing post-harvest losses. It needs support from government and institutions to conduct more researches and study on the effect of chitosan on the post-harvest quality of local fresh produce. Okay? So, I hope you can now imagine a cleaner country with lesser rotten fresh produce waste by employing post-harvest interventions, specifically edible coatings, such as chitosan. So, chitosan coating for a better living. Thank you.